You ever have one of those days where you think, hey, nothing's gonna go wrong today. I'm just gonna grill some burgers and chill. And then, 5 minutes later, you're standing in your own backyard being accused of running a criminal enterprise by a lady with a haircut so tight it looks like her face is trying to escape her skull? Yeah, that happened to me. And let me tell you, if you ever want to find out who your real friends are, just host a barbecue and wait for your nosy neighbor to call the cops. It was a Saturday, late afternoon, the kind of day where the sun's so warm you can feel it soaking into your bones, but not hot enough to melt you into a puddle of regret. I had the grill going, spatula in hand, surrounded by people who knew every version of me, the good, the bad, and the hungover. The air was thick with the smell of charred meat and fresh-cut grass, laughter bouncing around the patio like it had nowhere better to be. You could almost believe the world was all right. And then there's Sarah, perched on a patio chair, lemonade in hand, her feet bare, hair pulled back in a messy bun. The same Sarah who's been my partner through shootouts, stakeouts, and paperwork hell. Marcus, if these burgers aren't worth the hype, you're doing the dishes for a month, she yells across the yard, her voice pure mischief. I just grin and tell her, trust the process, chun, because when you're 8 years deep on the force, flipping burgers is about the only thing you're allowed to feel cocky about. James is sprawled in a lawn chair, legs stretched out like he owns the place. He's the type of guy you'd want in a fight and hate to see at the karaoke bar. His voice is a crime against humanity, but his heart's gold. I dunno, Marcus, he teases. Last time you made ribs, half the squad got sick. I still have nightmares. The whole group cracks up. Even Pat, the grizzled sergeant who's forgotten more about the job than most people ever learn. Officer Tommy, the rookie, snorts iced tea out his nose and almost wipes out, which only makes everyone laugh harder. For a moment, it's just normal. No sirens, no drama, just friends, sunlight, and the kind of dumb inside jokes that can only be earned by sweating through too many 12-hour shifts together. I actually stopped, burger in hand, just to soak it in. If I could bottle that feeling, I'd never buy another drink again. But peace never lasts, not in my world. That's when I see her, Mrs. Eleanor Whitmore, the local HOA terror. She's standing by the fence, arms folded so tight you'd think she's trying to hold herself together. White hair yanked back, face pinched up like she just smelled something nasty. She's the kind of neighbor who counts the blades of grass on your lawn and reports you if it's overgrown by a quarter-inch. She'd only moved in 6 months ago, but already she'd filed enough complaints to fill a file cabinet. Noise, leaves. My mailbox being insufficiently patriotic, you name it, she's got a form for it. And now she's standing there, eyes scanning my friends like she's picking us out of a lineup. Excuse me, she calls, slicing straight through our laughter. Her voice could cut glass. I turn, spatula still raised like a white flag. Afternoon, Mrs. Whitmore. Can I help you? She doesn't smile. She never does. Her eyes land on Sarah's bare feet, linger on James's tattoos, big, bold, and, to her, clearly a sign of the apocalypse. Tommy's tossing a football to Pat, their voices echoing a little too loud for her taste. I want to know what kind of gathering this is, she says, nose wrinkling like she's just stepped in something. The HOA has very specific rules about parties, noise, and, well, the congregation of suspicious individuals. Sarah just sips her lemonade, eyebrow raised, deadpan. Suspicious individuals? You could practically hear the quotation marks. I do my best diplomat act. It's just a cookout, Mrs. Whitmore. A couple friends, nothing wild. It's 3 in the afternoon. We're well within the rules. She's not buying it. 6 vehicles in your driveway, she sniffs. That's over the permitted limit. And I've been monitoring the noise. You've been shouting for hours. Monitoring. James stands up, all 6'3" of him. He's a teddy bear, but you wouldn't know it to look at him. Dude's built like a linebacker. We've just been talking. She backs up a bit, but she's not leaving. I know your type. Tattoos, loud music, people loitering. No loud music. Pat cuts in, and trust me, when Sergeant Morrison speaks, people usually listen. We're adults, having a barbecue on private property. Mrs. Whitmore's already got her phone out. I'm calling the HOA president, she declares, holding it up like a talisman. And if that doesn't work, I'll call the police. You people think you can do whatever you want, but I will not tolerate this. Tommy laughs, not helping himself. You really don't want to. She whirls on him. Don't you me, young man. I am a taxpayer and a homeowner. I have rights. Sarah catches my eye. The look says it all. She's half amused, half gobsmacked. We deal with all kinds on the job, but there's something almost impressive about how hard this woman works at being offended. I try one last time, shifting into my calm the crazy voice. Mrs. Whitmore, we're just having lunch. No rules broken, nobody's in danger. She waves me off. That's what they all say, but I know how these things escalate. People like you, gathering, making noise, disturbing the peace. And just like that, the mood shifts. The air gets heavier. People like us. Sarah mutters, quiet but sharp. Mrs. Whitmore dials 911. Yes, hello? I need to report a disturbance. There's a group of suspicious individuals at 4237 Maple Drive, being loud, too many cars, refusing to comply. I feel threatened. My stomach sinks. Is she for real? You're calling 911 for this? I ask, my hands up, trying to keep things from spinning out. She glares, waving her phone. 6 suspicious people, possible gang activity. Tattoos. Aggressive behavior. Please, send someone. I'm a 68-year-old woman. I don't feel safe. Gang activity. In my backyard. Over burgers. You can't make this stuff up. Pat's jaw is set like granite. James has his arms crossed, doing his best not to explode. Tommy looks caught between laughing and swearing. Sarah just shakes her head. Because of my Marine Corps tattoos? James says, his voice flat. Mrs. Whitmore just shrugs, like she's done all she can. Let the police sort you out. I check my watch. Response time's about 8 to 12 minutes. Long enough for everyone to finish their drinks. Short enough that this is about to get real awkward. 7 minutes later, here come the flashing lights. A patrol car crawls down the street, slow enough to draw every curtain on the block. I recognize them. Officers Martinez and Young. Good cops. They get out. All business, hands resting near their belts, eyes scanning the scene. Mrs. Whitmore perks up, smoothing her blouse. Officers, thank goodness you're here. These people, she gestures at us like we're on exhibit, have been loud, possibly engaged in gang activity. Too many vehicles. I want them cited for every violation. Martinez looks us over, her face a model of professional blankness. Sarah gives a tiny nod. James raises his glass in greeting. And who are these individuals? Martinez asks. I don't know. Mrs. Whitmore says, huffy. That's the problem. Suspicious strangers. Young cuts in, gentle but firm. They're in his backyard, ma'am. Private property. Martinez turns to me. Sir, do you live here? I nod. Yeah, Marcus Johnson. Been here 3 years. And these folks? Friends from work. Just a Saturday cookout. Mrs. Whitmore, voice rising. Aren't you going to do something? Martinez holds up a hand. Let me investigate. That's why you called, right? She steps closer. There's the tiniest flicker of a smile on her lips. So, friends from work. What kind of work? Sarah steps forward, flips open her badge. Detective Sarah Chun, Major Crimes. James is next. Lieutenant James Rodriguez, SWAT. Pat reaches into her purse, holds up her own badge. Sergeant Patricia Morrison, Narcotics. Tommy, grinning like a maniac. Officer Tommy Wells, Patrol. I hold up mine last. Detective Marcus Johnson. Homicide. Mrs. Whitmore's face just drains. It's like watching someone unplug a TV. 1 minute there's a show, next minute it's static. Martinez can't hold back any longer. Her professional mask cracks, shoulders shaking with barely contained laughter. Young turns away, hand covering his mouth. So let me get this straight, Martinez says, voice strangled. You called 911 to report gang activity at a police barbecue? Mrs. Whitmore sputters. How was I supposed to know? The tattoos. Young chimes in. Those are Marine Corps, ma'am. Lieutenant Rodriguez here did 2 tours. And you reported us for loitering? Martinez adds. On private property? These are off-duty cops having lunch. And the vehicles? I add, trying not to smile. All parked in my driveway. There's no HOA rule about that. Now she's gone from pale to fire engine red. I was concerned. Pat, her voice like a verdict. You filed a false police report. Said you felt threatened by a group of cops eating burgers. Sarah jumps in, trying to play peacemaker, but you can hear the steel in her voice. Let's not be too hard. Mrs. Whitmore just made an honest mistake. She saw people having fun and assumed the worst. Profiling, basically. For a second, the words just hang there. Nobody laughs. Martinez says, I could cite you for misuse of emergency services. But I think you've learned your lesson. Mrs. Whitmore starts backing away, clutching her purse like it's a life preserver. I just wanted to keep up the standards. I call out softer this time. Next time, maybe just say hello. Get to know your neighbors, you know? She doesn't answer, just turns and hurries away, heels clicking like gunshots. The second she's out of earshot, Young starts laughing so hard he nearly falls over. I cannot wait for shift briefing. Responded to gang activity, found a police barbecue. Victim, common sense. You two want a burger? I ask. They're cold, but hey, I can fire the grill back up. Martinez grins. Tempting, but we're still on duty. And Johnson, nice job staying cool. The patrol car rolls off, and suddenly, the backyard feels lighter again. The burgers are cold, but nobody cares. I throw more on the grill, and laughter picks right back up, louder than before. Tommy's still wiping tears away. Did you see her face when we showed the badges? He gasps. I thought she was going to faint. Sarah's laughing too. James raises his glass. To Marcus, for having the patience of a saint. And the worst luck with neighbors. To Marcus. Everyone cheers, and for a moment, the world is exactly how it should be. The sun starts to set. There's a glow over everything. My friends, the half-eaten burgers, the empty bottles, even the fence where Mrs. Whitmore disappeared. I think about her, maybe inside, replaying everything in her head, mortified. Part of me feels bad for her, but mostly, I hope she learned something. About judging, about fear, about what real danger looks like, and what it doesn't. Pat leans back, thoughtful. This'll make a hell of a story at the next HOA meeting. I grin. Yeah, I might actually show up this time. Evening slides in. We eat. We laugh. We just live. I never see Mrs. Whitmore again that day, but in the weeks after, she's quieter. She even gives me a stiff little nod when I pass her in the morning. Guess some lessons take better when they're served with a side of irony and a crowd of cops. And the burgers? Worth the hype, if I say so myself. But here's the real kicker. If it was you, if you heard a bunch of folks next door, tattoos and laughter, a little noise, a lot of life, what would you do? Knock on the fence and say hi? Or reach for the phone and call the cavalry? Yeah, that's the real question. So, now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been judged by how you look, who you hang out with, or just for having a good time? Or maybe, just maybe, you've been the one doing the judging? Drop your thoughts below. What's justice, what's over the line, and what's just plain neighborly? Let's get real about right, wrong, and what it means to be human.